Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Rashley's BBQ. Tonight we're going to be cooking some nice thick pork chops. We're going to bake them in the Traeger grill, the Traeger smoker, and we're going to do it with some rice, cream of mushroom soup, and some Lipton onion soup mix. Let's get started. Y'all come along for the ride. We got 1 cup of rice in the bottom of a 9x13 baking dish. We're gonna put the mushroom soup in 2.5 cups of water and get it nice and dissolved. We're gonna spread the Lipton onion soup mix and the mushroom soup over the top of the rice and lay in some onion rings and lay the pork chops on top of the onion rings. Let's get that soup all mixed up and where it'll flow on real nice. Nothing big to see here. Like I said, 2.5 cups of water, 1 can of mushroom soup. Get it all in there. We're gonna warm it up and stir it just so the mushroom soup's so thick, this will help it just spread around in the rice. It calls for 2 cans of mushroom soup, so I want to make sure I document that. I added another can already. In this boiler, I have 2 cans of mushroom soup, 2.5 cups of water, and I'm just warming it up to get that soup to dissolve. We got 1 onion cut up. We're just gonna pop it apart into rings, and then we're gonna layer that over the rice. I'm also gonna add a little bit of this Knorrs caldo con sabor de pollo. It's just some chicken bouillon in a powder flavor or powder form. You want to be careful because it's very salty, but I'm not adding any other salt to the recipe, so that's going to replace the salt and give the liquid a little more flavor. I've never made it before, so I'm just going to follow the directions. We're going to take the Lipton onion soup mix and we're just going to sprinkle it over the rice as the recipe calls for. That 1 cup of rice is just kind of spread out evenly across the bottom of the pan. All right, now it says to pour the mushroom soup and water mixed together, pour it over the rice. Pouring it kind of slowly so we don't displace the rice. Now we're going to layer in the onions, just kind of spreading them around. We're going to bake it in the Traeger. That way we keep the oven free for whatever the wife wants to bake tonight. She's kind of doing some Christmas goodies. There we go. The Traeger's outside already warmed up to 350. It's ready to go. We're going to place 4 chops, nestling them down a little bit into the liquid. Then we're going to modify the recipe ever so slightly, which I encourage everybody to do. I just give you some guidelines here, but how you decide to do it is ultimately up to you. The modification is Chupacabra Cluckalicious. We're going to sprinkle a little bit of that on top of the chops and on top of the soup. All that. It's going to be good. This Cluckalicious is specifically, originally, let me rephrase, for chicken, but it's great on everything. We've eaten it on beef, pork, turkey, chicken, all kinds of poultry. This is really good stuff. An all-purpose seasoning. All right, the last step, plural, is to cover it with foil and get it outside on the Traeger. All sealed up. We'll see y'all outside at the grill. Traeger settled in at right around 350. All right, we're gonna leave it in there for 1 hour. and then we're going to check it. We want the pork chops to be tender and the rice to be fully cooked, which it should be in an hour, but we'll see. All right, let's take a look. Lots of liquid left in it still. And the pork chops are still tough. Let me taste that rice and see what we're dealing with. Okay, the rice is tender. Pork chops are not quite done yet. I think I'm gonna flip the pork chops, put the dry side down, keep it in the moisture, and take the aluminum foil off, let some of the moisture evaporate, and we'll go from there. We'll let it go like that for a little while, see how it comes out. About 185 degrees, so it's well done. Not a problem with that. Still pretty moist, a lot of moisture in there, but we're gonna go ahead and pull it off. It's been on an hour and a half. We're gonna go ahead and pull it, eat it, enjoy it. And when I get inside, I'll tell you about some of the issues I've had and what I think I would do different. All right, let's cut into this chop. See what we got. All right, let's give it a taste. To be totally honest, the chop's a little tough. Good flavor, but it's a little bit tough. I think I would have let it go longer. We brought the chops up to about 180, 185 degrees. Typically, when they're sitting in juice and sauce like that, they would be more tender. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but let's give that rice a taste. I know it's mushy, that much I see. But with the onion soup and everything, it should be good. It's a little mushy. As you saw, we had quite a bit of juice in there, but that's what the recipe called for. A lot of liquid. Next time I'll try it with a little bit less liquid and see how it goes. Also, next time I may do it on the Yoder and cook it up on the top shelf and not have so much direct heat on the bottom of the pan. It's not burnt, but it's almost scorched to the bottom of that pan. That pan is kind of thin though. I may try it in a glass container next time. But that's it. The good, the bad, you see it all here. It's a little tough, but it's still gonna be good. We're gonna chow down. We hope you all join us again another day on Rashley's Border Q. Until then, I just wanna say adios, and we'll see you later on down the road. After further thought and consideration, I think the pork chops were well overcooked. I usually cook pork to about 145. When I went and checked them at 1 hour, they were already at 165 to 170. The recipe called for 1 hour, and I went by the recipe. I'm gonna try this recipe again. I'm gonna modify it to suit my taste. I'm gonna use more rice. The call for a cup of rice. I'm gonna use a cup and a half, maybe 2 cups. Maybe a cup and a half of rice, 3 cups of moisture, liquid. This time the 3 cups will include the mushroom soup though. I'm going to pull the dish off when the temperature of the pork reaches 145 degrees. Let it rest, and then we're gonna try it out again. So that's what I think went wrong. I was under the assumption that it's kind of like beef, and if you let it simmer longer, it's going to get more tender, but pork goes the other way. It gets tough as it's cooked longer. All right, guys, that's my evaluation. Bye.